You're lying in bed. It's 2 a.m., the house is dark, and somewhere inside your wall, something is moving. You can hear it, scratching, scurrying, a tiny weight shifting behind the drywall just few feet from your face. And then, you move. You shift in your bed. Maybe you sit up. And it stops. Complete silence. You wait. You hold your breath. Nothing. But the moment you relax, the moment you settle back into your pillow and go still, it starts again. Most people think the mouse heard them, that it got scared and froze. But that's not what happened. What actually happened is far stranger and far more unsettling. Because that mouse wasn't just listening to you. It was feeling you, tracking you, running calculations about you that most people never knew a mouse was capable of. And when you went still, you didn't just go quiet. You vanished from a sensory system you didn't even know existed. Today, we're going inside the wall, and by the end of this video, you will never hear that silence the same way again. Let's start with the moment itself. You move, the mouse stops. You stop, it starts again. Everyone assumes this is about sound. The mouse has good ears. It heard you. It froze. But here's what's actually happening. Mice have something called Pacinian neurons, specialized sensory receptors that don't detect sound. They detect vibration, physical vibration, the kind that travels through floors, through walls, through the structure of a building itself. And these neurons are extraordinarily sensitive. Research from the Harvard Brain Science Initiative found that when a mouse stands on a surface, a tap to the other end of a branch several meters away is enough to activate them. Scientists discovered that simply running a finger across a surface near a mouse, not touching the mouse, not making a sound, was enough to trigger a full neurological response. So when you're walking around your kitchen at midnight, the mouse in your wall isn't just hearing your footsteps, it's feeling every single one of them as vibrations traveling through the structure of your home. And when you stop moving, you don't just go quiet. You disappear from an entirely separate sensory channel the mouse was using to track you. That's why the silence is so immediate, so precise. The mouse didn't decide to stop. Its entire picture of where you were just went blank.
Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. When the mouse goes still, most people imagine a terrified little animal, heart pounding, hoping you don't find it. The reality is far more calculated than that. Scientists studying mouse freeze behavior found something unexpected. When a mouse freezes, it doesn't shut down, it upgrades. The moment its body stops, its eyes begin actively scanning. It's taking in visual information, processing, assessing, deciding. It's a dual-purpose behavior. Stay invisible to the threat while simultaneously gathering as much intelligence about that threat as possible. The mouse isn't cowering, it's running a threat assessment. It froze at you, not from you. And while it's frozen, it's answering specific questions. Where did the vibration come from? Did it stop or just slow down? Is the threat moving toward me or away? Do I run or do I wait? The stillness you hear through your wall isn't an absence of activity. It is the most focused the mouse gets. While we're talking about what the mouse knows, let's talk about how well it knows your home. Because by the time you notice a mouse, it has already mapped your entire house. Mice build what scientists call a spatial memory of their territory, a detailed internal map of every route, every gap, every surface. And because their eyesight is actually quite poor, they navigate primarily through touch. Their whiskers brush against walls and surfaces constantly, feeding information back to the brain. Over time, they develop fixed routes, the same paths every single night with almost mechanical consistency. And here's the detail that should make you look at your baseboards differently. Those greasy smear marks you sometimes see along the bottom of walls, that's not dirt. That's the oil from a mouse's fur, deposited over weeks and weeks of running the exact same route in the exact same spot. Every smear is a road, a highway the mouse uses so reliably that it leaves a physical mark on your home. Your house doesn't just have a mouse, it has a mouse with an infrastructure, a network of established routes it has been refining since the day it arrived.
Here's the one that genuinely surprises people. When you hear scratching in your walls at night, that is the least interesting thing happening in there. Because mice sing, not in a metaphorical sense, literally. Male mice produce complex, structured vocalizations during courtship with rhythm, with variation, with what researchers describe as the acoustic features of song. When scientists slowed these vocalizations down and made them audible to human ears, they described them as sounding like bird song. The catch? These songs happen at ultrasonic frequencies, above 20,000 hertz. Your ears stop working around there. You will never hear them under any natural circumstances. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna classified over 53,000 individual mouse calls and found something even more unexpected. It's not just males singing. Females respond. There is what appears to be a back and forth vocal exchange between males and females, a duet. So right now, potentially inside your wall, there is a courtship happening, a conversation, a world of sound and communication that is completely invisible to you. Not because it isn't there, but because your biology simply cannot reach it. The scratching is just what leaks through. We talk about whiskers as a mouse feature, but most people don't appreciate what they actually are. A mouse's whiskers aren't hair, they're a sensory organ. Each whisker connects to a follicle packed with nerve endings, feeding a continuous stream of tactile information directly to the brain. And here's the detail that reveals how central they are. When mice are born blind, when their visual system never develops, their whiskers grow at a supernormal rate, larger than they would have been, as if the brain, recognizing that one channel is gone, immediately begins expanding the other. And the reverse is also true. Take away a mouse's whiskers, and it begins relying more heavily on vision. The two systems don't just coexist, they're in active negotiation with each other, constantly balancing. The mouse is running a live sensory budget, allocating resources between systems based on what's available. Which means the whiskers on the mouse in your wall right now aren't a fixed feature. They're a dynamic tool that has been calibrated specifically to the conditions of your home. Here's something that should genuinely shift how you think about the mouse in your home. It's not just remembering the routes it has traveled, it's generating new ones. Research published in the journal eLife found that mice can use self-motion cues to construct a cognitive map, an internal spatial model, and then use that model to calculate shortcut trajectories they have never actually physically traveled before. The mouse knows where the gap behind your refrigerator connects to the space under your cabinets, not because it has made that specific trip, but because it has built a three-dimensional model of the space and worked it out. It isn't navigating your house, it is modeling it.
Now here's where the mouse's relationship with fear gets strange. Mice have two separate scent detection systems, their nose, for general smell, and a second organ, the vomer nasal organ, that functions as a dedicated chemical intelligence system, specifically tuned to detect certain compounds. And one of the things it's tuned to detect is predator urine, the specific chemical signature that cats, snakes, and other predators carry in their scent. Here's the extraordinary part. A mouse that has never seen a cat in its life, raised in a lab, no predator exposure whatsoever, will still retreat immediately when it detects these compounds. The fear isn't learned. It isn't a memory. It's encoded in the chemistry of the vomer nasal organ itself, waiting like a preloaded program for the right trigger. Your cat doesn't need to catch the mouse. It doesn't even need to be in the same room. Its scent alone is activating a fear response that was written into the mouse before it was born. You might have noticed, if you have ever had a mouse, that it seems to return to the same places obsessively. Same corner, same route, same spot behind the stove. People assume this is habit, familiarity. The mouse just likes where it has been before. The reality is chemical. Researchers found a protein called darsin in mouse urine, detectable only when a mouse's nose makes direct contact with the surface. And what darsin does is extraordinary. it creates a compulsion to return. Mice who encounter it come back to that exact spot again and again, driven by a neurochemical pull they cannot override. The mouse isn't choosing to go back to the same places because it's comfortable there. It's going back because its own previous presence has left a chemical instruction on the surface telling it to return. It has been summoned by itself from weeks ago. This one is the most unsettling of all. Mice have approximately 1,200 types of odor receptors. Humans have around 350. The gap between those two numbers represents an olfactory world we cannot imagine. And what mice can detect with that system includes stress compounds, specific chemicals that appear in the body chemistry and sweat of animals experiencing fear or anxiety. Predator stress has a smell. Researchers have been able to identify specific compounds that trigger avoidance behavior in mice when they detect them from potential threats. So when you're walking through your dark kitchen at 3 a.m., slightly on edge, listening for sounds, the mouse in your wall may be reading your emotional state from the air. It isn't just detecting that you're there. It may be detecting how you feel about the dark. So let's go back to that moment. 2 a.m., the scratching in the wall. You move, and it stops. You thought the mouse heard you, but now you know what was actually happening. It felt your vibrations through the structure of your walls. It froze, not in fear, but to gather information. Its whiskers swept the air in controlled patterns. Its second nose checked for stress compounds in your scent. Its cognitive map of your home was already complete. Its routes already carved into your baseboards in grease you might never notice. And when you went still, when you gave it the all clear, it went back to its world. The one with songs you can't hear, signals you can't smell, and maps you didn't know it was drawing. The house you live in and the house it lives in are the same building, but they are not the same place. If you found this video interesting, there's a lot more where this came from. Every animal you share your space with has a version of this story, a hidden layer of biology running right alongside your daily life that most people never think to look for. We'll be back next week with another one.